Hi everyone, I'm Denny, and I'm here to say that I know nothing about Iggy Azalea, besides the fact that she got that wagon. Am I right? Get it off the screen already. I'm finna pop a blood vessel. Seriously though, I know nothing about her besides the fact that, she has that song Fancy and Black Widow, and, like everyone else, I enjoy those songs. I always hear Iggy get so much slander as an artist, and I never join in because honestly I don't have enough of an opinion on her to say if she's trash or not. I couldn't even tell you who she even makes music for, and when I ask around no one else knows either, which is pretty much why I'm doing this video. I'm gonna be listening to every Iggy Azalea album and ranking them, while also trying to make the perfect Iggy album by picking songs from each of her albums. Now this video isn't because anybody asked me to do it, or it's not even because I'm a fan myself, because I'm not. But I'm not a hater either. I'm just genuinely interested in seeing if she deserves the hate she constantly receives on a daily basis. I don't know how I'm going to be making the perfect album for Iggy, since I'd be making an album that'd be perfect for what she does, and I don't even know what that is yet. Now the first album we have by Iggy is called The New Classic. Was it a classic? I don't know. Nah, not really, no. I don't even know if Iggy even knew what direction to take this album in, because it's low-key all over the damn place. In general, it sounds like it's someone's smoke session playlist that you would listen to while driving with a friend, I guess. A lot of these songs sound like something you would hear at the skating rink on a Saturday night. I'm not saying that's bad, but that's like the closest I can get to a vibe for this. The whole album is just kind of supposed to be a vibe. There's literally no other theme than, hey, let's vibe to cool music, but it's not that cool. She has a few features which are from people like Rita Ora, Charlie XCX, and even T.I. You guys remember T.I. I forgot she was even signed to him, to be honest with y'all. I'm sure T.I. forgot as well, seeing as he's prospering so much from his stand-up comedy now.
I ain't gonna allow this from you. All my niggas, I'll take it from you, sir. I will not allow it. I will not allow it.
Fight back.
Or not. The songs feel like they're just from completely different albums. Like, why is Change Your Life followed by Fancy, which is followed by New Bitch, switching between different types of energy, and it's not even done properly. Also, the hook on the song New Bitch sounds like a parody song from a Saturday Night Live skit. I don't know who let this album go through like this, because it literally sounds like she said she likes these songs and somebody's like, cool, that's the album now. This deadass sounds so damn unfinished, like they put the songs in a random generator and this is what they came out with. Do I believe Iggy can rap though? Yes. Iggy can actually snap sometimes, but I can also see why you would think she doesn't, since a lot of her verses are good but her hooks are pretty damn whack most times. A bunch of her songs sound like nice songs to close the album with, but then you remember that you're only halfway through the album. Iggy genuinely can make good songs that can make you feel like you relate to them, like the song Impossible Is Nothing, which is actually a song that I really like. And she also has songs like Goddess, which show you how nice of a rapper she is, but it's overshadowed by how terribly placed the songs on this album are. Most of these songs aren't good songs to put on something called New Classic, unless you want to be laughed out of the damn room. Some of these are good singles, like Black Widow, but they shouldn't have been on this album, because they're so damn out of place coming after songs like Goddess and everything else. This album makes me interested in her songs, but it also makes me skeptical going forward, because looking at her album covers after this, it looks like she slowly becomes more mainstream. Also, speaking of covers, what the hell is this Meet the Goldbergs ass fit she's wearing in the album cover? After finally finishing this album, I can say that I am still very confused about what the hell this album is supposed to be doing. Like, is it supposed to inspire me? Make me want to dance? Make me want to chill? The answer is...
Nobody knows.
I'm gonna review this and the deluxe at the same time, since the deluxe only has an additional 3 songs. What a fucking deluxe. I'm giving this album a 5 out of 10. If she'd have replaced most of these songs with better ones instead of putting random popular singles in with a mixture of random genres to come together as a mess of a fucking album. I'm only keeping it at a 5 for the few good songs that are in this album. The deluxe isn't even any better. There's 3 songs in it, and they're pretty damn boring if you ask me. I thought Just Asking was a cool song until that loud ass beat drop fucked it all up. Plus her flow doesn't go with most of the beat, which sucks because I actually like the lyrics. I just can't get over that whack, loud ass Melanie Martinez Pussy Riot type ass beat that drowns out the vocals and shit. And I'm gonna be taking Don't Need Y'all, 100, Work, and Possible Is Nothing, Goddess, and We in This Bitch from this album to be put into consideration for the perfect Iggy album. That's it for the first album, and I'm already disappointed in Miss Iggy. But it's her first album, so maybe she grew more as an artist over time. Iggy's next album is titled Reclassified, and Reclassified has hits like Work, Change Your Life, Black Widow, and hey, this are songs from the last album. I don't get what's the point of dropping 2 albums and still having them be the same songs from the last fucking album. Does this album at least do better with the song placement? No, not at all. Was this supposed to be like a deluxe to new classic? Because if so, why did you drop a deluxe to new classic already? She still also has random songs in here, like the song with Jennifer Hudson, which sounds like the song you'd hear during the middle of a Tyler Perry movie when the character realizes they need to get their shit together. If you skip the songs that are already on the new classic album, this album goes by so damn fast. If anything, I actually think Reclassified is worse than New Classic, and not that the bar was too damn high to reach. Also, I just want to get on this fit for the album once again. Bro, in this in a 90s kind of world, I'm glad I got my girls ass fit. Seriously though, this album fucking sucks, and I won't be taking any songs into consideration for this album. Also, I'm giving this shit a 3 out of 10 because it took songs that were on the last album while adding songs that still weren't good or properly placed to make this a standalone album. Iggy, bro, please fire whoever is handling your albums. And if it's you, hire somebody else. Sheesh! Now, the next album in the list is called In My Defense. And in my defense, Iggy fucking ate on this album, man. Now, the songs are shorter than her earlier songs, which I'm actually glad about, because the earlier songs kind of dragged on for a while and had me wondering when they would finally stop. Even though these songs are shorter, they are pretty damn good. This album feels like Iggy actually had a theme for this one, and that theme is that she's flexing on you bitches, but it's in self-defense. And boy, is she fucking flexing on you bitches. This album is a whole different pace from the Iggy that I'm now used to, but it's good though, because now I can actually defend her rap skills without feeling like a dumbass. I feel like Iggy's years of being known as a corny rapper kinda made her go overlooked in the rap game, especially since there is usually one big female rapper at a time, with the rest being overshadowed and barely noticed. If we had gotten this type of Iggy from the beginning, I genuinely think that Iggy could have had her own stamp in the game and not just be known for Fancy and Black Widow or instantly labeled as a corny rapper by people who don't even listen to her music. Now, she does have her own respective fan base, but outside that, everyone just makes fun of her and never gives her a chance. And before this video, I never gave her a chance either. After listening to New Classic and Reclassified, I came out thinking, she can rap, but I do understand why you would say that she fucking sucks. If you only listen to those 2 specific albums, you wouldn't be interested in any more of her music, and I should know, because I wasn't either. I started In My Defense just trying to get it out of the way so I could finish this video, but I left with a new type of respect for Iggy as an artist. The songs were placed decent enough. It did kind of end in the midst of the role it was on. I feel like a lot of albums forget to close the albums off instead of just putting random songs at the end. It's like if you were watching a TV show and in the midst of the conversation it just ended. You'd be mad as hell. That doesn't mean the songs are bad though. She doesn't have any random songs that didn't need to be in the album. I just feel like they needed to be moved around. Like she ended the album with Pussy Pop, which isn't a bad song, it's just a bad song to be the closer for an album that's not an EP or a deluxe. I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10. If she'd have actually closed this album instead of leaving it wide open, I'd give it an 8, but other than that, this album was pretty good in general. If you told me she's trash, I'd probably play this album in her defense, and if you still thought she was trash, I'd just leave it alone at that point. I'll be adding Thanks I Get, Started, Spend It, and Just Wanna into consideration for this album, and we're going to be moving on to Iggy's most recent album. So we're here, the last Iggy Azalea album, which she named The End of an Era. Now I doubt this is supposed to be her actual last album, but let's see if she at least went out with a bang. I don't think this album was actually made for people like me and mine. Like, this album is full of songs that a DJ would play at the club, but not in a way that you would play like Pooh Shiesty or Megan for females. This is more like the music the DJ remixes to have sick beat drops while mosh pits are going on and shit like that. Now I'll give her one thing, at this point I never know what the hell the next album is gonna be or what she's gonna do next. The songs on this album all go together and I can see the theme she's going for, but again, this album just isn't made for me. I'm not gonna say that she did bad or that, the album itself is bad. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to have too much of an opinion on it because I don't really like stuff like this. These songs are things that you see on like Instagram dancers dancing to or shit that you hear in like a twerkout class, which is alright. But with songs like these, I feel like if you heard one of them, you've heard all of them. Lucky for me though, Iggy does have some songs that aren't just dance music and starts rapping the way she normally does, and it's pretty damn fire if you ask me. I do want to say again that I appreciate her different approach, even though I didn't like the dance music, but it did have me wondering where she was going to go with this album, and shows that she can jump in different genres, even if I might not like that genre. This album isn't bad, it's just for a different group of people that I am not in. I like some of the songs, or I could at least see why someone would like the songs that I didn't, because even those songs aren't that bad. The placement isn't too bad. You can't really expect what the next song is, but that's good because sometimes I like being surprised. She managed to have you surprised but still kept her theme going for the most part. I do feel like the dance songs at the beginning of this album probably should have been in the middle or something, or at least scattered throughout the album instead of being put all back to back in the fucking beginning. She actually closed this album this time, and the song is actually the perfect closer for this album. It's about how she's starting to feel burnt out and the party's gonna end soon, which is perfect because this is a party album. It's genuinely wild though because the things that I have complained about each album seem to get solved by the next album, showing that she's starting to understand how to make an album more and even growing as an artist. She's definitely come a long way from
trying to move on with life, but he still want to be a good daddy. So I sit in a ride cause I don't want us overlapping. She spending money on Mac, that's cute. I get checks from them in Paris. Better check my tax bracket. What you think was gonna happen? Nagging, now he's leaving and y'all broke up like me.
Alright, that's enough of that. Turn the fucking clip off already, please. I'm going to be giving this album a 7 out of 10. It was decent for what it's supposed to be, but I'm not really the person it was going for. But that's okay though. Like, it's not bad, but I'm just not a fan of it, which is why I gave it a 7. I'll only be taking Woke Up and Is That Right from this album, and yes, I listened to the deluxe, I just didn't find any good songs that were good enough to put into consideration. Now we're going to move on to the good part and construct the perfect Iggy Azalea album. I'm not gonna lie, this album grew on me. I was originally gonna come here and talk about how I didn't really care for how it came out, but I got busy and ended up listening to the album, and after a few listens, it just kinda grew on me a little bit. I didn't love it as much as I loved Jack Hawk, which I still listen to over and over, but I guess it's a good introduction to Iggy's music if you haven't listened to her before. If this was her first album, I would be left thinking that she could rap, and probably wondering where she'd go next. It was genuinely hard for me to even make this album, so give me some credit. Her albums altogether are very different from each other, which makes it hard to mix songs from different albums into one big album like this. I decided to call this album Femme Fatale, which isn't the best or most original name, but you try coming up for a name for an Iggy Azalea album. I'll wait. I didn't make a deluxe for this one since I already barely had songs in the one that I was making. The album altogether ended up being 39 minutes long, which is good, but I feel like some of the songs near the end of it kind of make you think that the album is done, and then another song plays and you're like, oh, never mind, it's still going. For this album, we'll be ordering the songs like this: Thanks I Get, Is That Right, Just Wanna, Spend It, Start It, Goddess, Woke Up, Work, 100, Impossible Is Nothing, and Don't Need Y'all. I'm gonna give this album a 7 out of 10. Originally I was gonna do 6 out of 10, but after re-listening to the album, I see that it's not that bad, and I was just kind of shitting on myself because I was trying to make this album perfect, and it's not. I won't listen to the album as much as other albums, but I have found a new respect for Iggy, and think if you're interested in her music, you should probably try it out. I don't know who I'll be doing next, so let me know in the comments who you want the perfect album for.